Hello and welcome to fairbutfirm.com. My name is Joe Cortez, former international boxing referee. Here we are in Las Vegas, Nevada. Beautiful weather. Yesterday was great, 78 degrees. And sorry for you guys on the East Coast, hate to rub it in, man, but you can't take that cold weather out there. Come out to the West Coast, but we're enjoying beautiful spring-like weather. Anyway, things are heating up again in boxing. Next coming weeks, you have March 1st, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. against Brian Vera. That fight is taking place in Texas, and it's going to be the rematch of a fight, a controversial ending last year, just before Christmas, where Julio Cesar Chavez got an unpopular decision over Brian Vera. But like I mentioned before, Julio has promised the world that he's going to be a different fighter, going to come out with more of a boxing technique and more discipline. His weight is going to be much better, and there's reason behind that, and that is two reasons. One is he has a brand new baby, a little girl, and that changes anybody's life. Now you start to focus in the real world, saying, I got a child, this is my life, I got to take care of my business to make sure my family is taken care of properly. And the second one is to please the fans. The fans want to be pleased, to make sure that they get a fair shake and a good decision. So we're hoping that this rematch, March 1st in Texas, Julio Cesar Chavez, Brian Vera. Hope it'll be a great fight like it was the first one. Very tense, but I think this one's going to be more of a one-sided if Julio fights the way he says he's going to fight. And a week later, we have Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Alfredo Angulo. That fight will be taking place March 7th here in Las Vegas at the MGM Hotel, and it should be a great fight. Two fighters that really come to fight. Angulo is a do-or-die type of fighter. They come to clash, and Canelo, that's what he likes, a fighter coming forward. He's a great boxer, great puncher. He has a great body puncher, and I referee him on one occasion. I can verify Canelo Alvarez can punch. He's a great boxer. He went to school when he fought Mayweather, but it didn't hurt him because he didn't get hurt physically. He didn't get hurt. His reputation, or maybe his ego, got hurt more than anything else. But you know what? He knows that with that fight, not only did he get a good paycheck, but he went to school, he graduated, and like I said before, after that loss, he'll come back and be a world champion again. And you know what? When you start off on the lower ranks to develop into the top contender, into the fight championship level, that's what Canelo did. And that's what's happened this coming Friday night on ESPN. Boxcino. Boxcino is a tournament. They're going to have like four 6-round fights. And these fighters that come out there to get that experience and to get that exposure, they want to get a good fan base. And that's where all fighters start. They got to start at the ground level. You graduate from there, you go into these other rankings, like with the NABO, the USBA, the NABF. Those sanctioning bodies have a second tier of, it's like a farm team type of, to groom these fighters, not the top 10, but let's say the 11 to the 20th. Let's say the top 20, well, this group belongs in the second tier, 11 to 20. They fight for eliminations, and then they end up fighting for the NABO title, NABF, USBA, and this is what we like to see. Sanctioning bodies get together, work it out, and have a summit every so often. My recommendation is get this. WBA, Roberto Mendoza. WBC, Mauricio Suleiman. WBO, Francisco Vargasal. IBF, Darryl Peoples. These are the four individuals that should get together and say, you know what, let's leave our ego out the door, let's sit down, let's negotiate deals, let's all be on the same page, let's all work to make boxing better. I know that the presidents of these organizations mean well for boxing, and they try to get their organization to be number one. Of course, we all want to be number one, but you know what, when it comes to the sanctioning bodies, we all try to get together, get them all together under the same umbrella and say, guys, This is what we want to do. Everybody shakes hands like a family. It's like a baseball, different teams, but we're all in, and we try to play the best we can. Some is ranked number 1 in the ratings, and number 2. Sanctioning bodies, we're all a family. The fans are the ones that are suffering sometimes when we can't get top fighters to fight each other because of the sanctioning bodies or because of the promoters or whatever, or the networks get involved as well. So these are the things that a lot of fans don't see behind the scenes. But me being an ex-official, and now on the other side, I can talk a little bit more liberty in reference to what I see and what I feel should be done in boxing. Boxing is a great sport. Boxing has its peaks and valleys like any other sport, but boxing was down the last couple of years, but then back up again on the top. It's coming up with all these big fights. Fans, you got Timothy Bradley fighting Pacquiao. That's coming up early spring. And hopefully Pacquiao and Mayweather can get it off, and these sanctioning bodies and the networks and promoters get together and say, let's make it happen for the fans. Let's make it happen. Why not? They're 2 great fighters. They're at the end of their career. Before they pack it in, we don't want to be talking about these fights 10, 15, 20 years down the line. What if they would have fought? Let's make it happen for the fans. So I think this is what boxing is all about. It's a lot of good things in boxing, but the promoters and the sanctioning bodies got to make it happen. And of course, with the networks. The networks, I think this is a business now. And you put up these championship fights together, you have a pay-per-view event. Let's make it a great pay-per-view event. Let's let the fans see not only 1 great fight, but 2 or 3 great fights on the card. It can happen. I remember when I used to referee, one night there was about 8 championship fights on the card. And Don King had put this together, I believe it was in Mexico City, when I refereed the great Julio Cesar Chavez against Greg Haugen from Nevada. And that was the largest crowd of boxing history with 136,000 fans. I remember walking into that ring, it was like unbelievable. The roar of the crowd, it was just look as far as you can see, the fans at Azteca Stadium. And you know what? They had about 8 championship fights on that card. And that was a night of boxing. It was a super night of boxing. And with that said, guys, take care. Talk to you next week.